You hit on something interesting there. We just had a guest on, G. Russell Reynolds, a buddy of mine, and he was talking a lot about like how toxic masculinity is a myth, and basically we need more strong men and masculinity. And you kind of hit on that, like this idea of becoming a man. Now that you're, older, wiser, couple of years in recovery, had a bunch of different, a bunch of different careers and whatnot. What do you think it means in like modern day America to be a man or exude masculinity without it going too far? Whatever your take might be. What do you think it means as guys grow up to like really become a man?
That's a great question. For me, being a man is taking responsibility for your own shit and being willing to admit when you're wrong. And I mean, there's a lot of things that I just didn't know how to do. I mean, I'd have money in the bank, and a lot of this I can blame on my alcoholism, and maybe that is a legitimate excuse, but there's laziness and there's lethargy and there's dreaming, just a bunch of procrastinating and all these defects of character that I didn't know that I had, that I learned about when I decided that I was going to commit to a program to try to get some help. And the group of guys that have brought me in and tucked me under their wing and said, we're going to show you how to do it. But they're the ones that have taught me how to be a man. And I watch what they do, and I watch how they walk through difficult things, and they do it without having to drink or without having to use any drugs. To me, that's what being a man is all about. When you lose a child, I have friends that have lost children. You watch them walk through that with grace and dignity, still being kind to other people and still being of service and still getting their job, getting to their job on time and still paying their bills on time. That's being a man to me.
Yeah.
And doing it without taking advantage of people, doing it honestly with integrity. Incredible.
Yeah. And I feel like our current environment, and you can call it a political environment, a social media environment, whatever, it really detracts from that, right? Because it doesn't matter what group you belong to, minority, male, female, middle class, upper class, gay, straight, doesn't matter. You can find somebody out there who's going to tell you on YouTube that everything is this person's fault or this group's fault or this ethnicity's fault or it's the government's fault or it's fucking global warming's fault. It just feels like there's an endless supply of influencers out there that will tell you or me or anybody that looks totally different than us that it's not their fault. It's their fault out there. It's not internal. So the idea that, becoming a man or just a responsible citizen is, taking responsibility for your own shit. I think that's a pretty powerful statement.
I mean, it's something I didn't know how to do when I was younger. Have you read Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People?
Yeah, I probably need to reread it because I probably read it 10 years ago and I was not being very effective.
Well, here's what's sad is that everybody I talk to, they're like, you're just discovering this book now? Well, yeah, I'm just becoming a man now. So, right. And as pathetic as that may sound, it's just kind of the truth. And almost everybody I know who's successful read this a long time ago, but it talks about the difference between the personality ethic and the character ethic, right? Right now, we live in a society where personality ethic is really, it's king. You've got an incredible personality, and if you got some good looks to go along with it, you can make millions of dollars. You can create an Instagram page, you're marketable, people will buy what you say to buy because they like looking at you or hearing you or what you have to say, or you're entertaining, and there's no substance to that whatsoever. And that's becoming the norm now, which is really kind of scary because the things that were important in the 50s and 60s and even partially through the 70s were, how do you treat your wife? How do you treat your kids? What do you teach them? What do you contribute to society? Are you generous and kind and loving and tolerant? Who gives a shit about that anymore?
And it's personality ethic versus
character ethic.
Character ethic. Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing to build your character? Are you a man of character? Are you a man of integrity? And to me now, money's nice. Don't get me wrong. I plan on stacking it. That's why I started my business. But at the end of the day, doing it with integrity and doing it honestly is far more important than how much money I make. And the way that I treat other people and trying to find ways to be of service to other people.